Right troops, good afternoon, good evening, it's the Budget Guitarist. My name's Martin. So, today I'm going to be working on this. This is an Epiphone Les Paul Studio. As you can see, it's looking very sorry for itself. It belongs to a very good friend of mine, Andy, and what he wants me to do is sort it out, make it playable, take a look at the electrics, new strings, setup, intonation, all that sort of stuff, so him and his daughter can learn guitar together. Of course, I said that's absolutely fine because I love working on guitars, and it's been a long time since I've played an Epiphone, and I'm excited. But straight from the get-go, so I had to put this string on because it had no strings in it whatsoever, and I wanted to test the electronics before I do anything else. I think it makes sense to do the electronics first. So we're in the treble position, which is bridge pickup. So I know the bridge pickup's working fine. Go to the center one. It's scratchy, but I know that the, hang on, let's try and get it. I need some metal from there. Yeah, testing it in the brick, so I can hear this one working. And I can hear that working coming through the amp as well. So I know the pickups are fine, so the problem's not the pickups. I think it's the switches buggered, because it's intermittent. Works okay in the bridge position, crackly on the mid, and we got nothing on the top bit, so I need to take a look at that. Yeah, just taking a look at the rest of the electronics, looking at the pots. So these are the potentiometers on a Les Paul style. You've got 2 volume, 2 tone, one for each pickup. And what is really good to see in here is they're not those cheap ones. So these are big 500k potentiometers, 2 alpha ones, 2 bravos, which is yeah, these are good. Right, to gain access to your 3-way switch, it's inside here. There's a plastic plate held in with 3 screws, and it's going to give you access to your switch. Obviously it's going in to the way around, so this bit pops through the hole here. But what I think the problem is the loose contacts. You can see where the solder's just come off. Let's have a see which one. So the yellow one's okay, the red one, yeah. So if I sort of hold it rigid against it now, works, and that's what's causing that intermittent annoying buzz. There's the red wire there and the yellow one there. So I don't have my soldering iron with me, which is a bugger. But somebody's had done a right number on this one. It's just really messy. There's a lot of I don't think that's standard. I think actually someone's put these pots in here, so these are an upgrade probably to the pots that we're in. But this job here is a bit sketchy. But when I was messing with the switch and I held that wire in position, I did adjust the volumes and tones, and everything was fine. There was no crackling or no nonsense coming from this. So if it's working, I'm just not going to mess with it. I'm going to leave it as is. Right, without my soldering iron, I think the only thing I can do is I can still clean it all up, polish these frets up, yeah, new strings and do a full setup, so I can still do the setup, new strings, intonation, all that stuff. I now know that's where the problem is, and it's just a quick little bit of solder, you know, once to take the back off. So I'm just going to get on with cleaning and restringing setup. Look at this now, super shiny. It's lovely. Giving the frets a nice polish. Very good. On the back as well. There we go. Look at that, new set of strings. It's looking more and more like a guitar. I am dying to play. So it's had some new Ernie Ball super slinkies. I just like super slinkies, 10 gauge, so in my opinion perfect for a beginner. Now, I was going to show you how to restring, but I did it last night and I forgot to record the process, and also I did the intonation, and again, guess what? I forgot to record the process. So I'll just explain what intonation is and how you intonate a guitar. Next bit we want to do is setting the action. So the action on your guitar is the distance from the strings to the fretboard. And if you can see here, I've actually got it. I think this is the lowest I've ever had an action on a Les Paul style guitar, because it's not as it's a little bit different. It's a little bit difficult to do in my opinion. But to set the action on a Les Paul style guitar, you've got these two adjusters here, and it's these two that only move, that you screw them. It's either going to raise this bridge or it's going to lower the bridge, and that's how you set the action. Now, what I like to do is I'll make the adjustments, but I'll start with the center two strings first. And what you want to do is firstly play the center two strings at each fret and check that there's no fret buzz. Once you're happy with that, what you then want to do is play the strings, but bend. Give it some really big bends, because your neck has a radius, so it's got a little curvature to it. It needs to be high enough so when you do bend, you're sort of like not bending the string till it hits the point where the note gets deadened. You need to be able to bend the string, you know, as far as you need to bend it, and the note stays true, doesn't go dead. But it's quite difficult on a Les Paul style guitar because you've only got two adjustments here. But yeah, that is setting the action. And I think in terms of setup for these, that's it. So new strings, intonate, action. Probably do the action first and then the intonation, because then, yeah, whatever adjustment you make here is going to constantly tuning. And the last thing I think to take a look at is, so this is before you put the strings on. You want to make sure, now this is purely down to preference and it's on the player, but for me personally, I like the neck to be as straight as possible. I need it to just be a true straight line as possible. Now, inside guitar necks, you've got something called a truss rod, and it's the truss rod you can make that adjustment. You can twist the truss rod so you can almost have sort of like a curve, or you can have it the opposite way. But for me, I just like it perfectly straight, and I think personally that's the right way to have it. To make the adjustment then on a Les Paul style guitar, because it's a fixed neck, there's no, you can't, the wood is joined to the body with glue and special joints and stuff. There's no bolts, so you can't take the neck off. You remove this plate here, and what you'll see inside just here, it'll either be like a screw or an Allen key nut, and it's just a case of turning that, and it's going to put the relief in, it's going to take the relief, and it's going to set the neck straight, as straight as you can. You're also going to need something with a very straight edge to check that it actually is true. So you're just looking at, you don't want to be seeing any gaps in between your straight edge and the top of the frets, and that is setting the neck. Right, I'll explain as best I can what intonation is and how you intonate a guitar. So here's sort of like the sciencey maths bit. The distance from the top nut down to the 12th fret should be the exact same distance from the 12th fret to the saddle. Now it doesn't look like it is, but it is. So on a Les Paul style guitar, you can adjust the saddles, each individual saddles, backwards and forwards by, you know, some quite precise distances, if you like, just by simply turning these screws here. Turn it one way, it'll move the saddle forward. Turn it another way, it'll move the saddle backwards. Now the intonation is, I've found this the quickest way to do it. Well, to be honest, it's not a quick procedure. So you're going to need a guitar tuner and a screwdriver to turn the nut. You put the guitar tuner on, you tune the guitar, you play the first string you want to intonate, and you want to get the correct note, as in, so top E, it would be an E. Then you need to fret it at the 12th fret. Where are we going? Where's the 12th with the two dots? Yeah, so we fret it there. Guitar tuner's still, and then we're going to play the note, play the string again. And what we want is the same note. It's just in a different. It's exactly 1 octave higher. So you play it open, tune it in. We should get an E. Push it at the 12th fret. Play it again. And you want the exact same note on the guitar tuner. If it's not, it's just a simple case of adjusting your screw to get it in the correct pitch when you're fretting it at the 12th fret, and then you repeat the process again. So you play it open, tune it back to an E, because you've adjusted here, it's gonna, you know, put tension or lose tension on the string. Play it open, check you're getting the right note, and then check again at the 12th fret. And you need to do that with every single string. Now the reason why intonation is important is because when you restring a guitar and you sort of forget about intonation, it'll still play fine, it'll still be in tune, it'll be okay here if you're playing here. But if you go beyond the 12th fret and it's not correctly intonated, then it's going to sound like it's ever so slightly out of tune when you're playing past the 12th fret, and that's because of the intonation. So that's intonation for you guys. All right, now it's time to take care of that dodgy bit of soldering in there on the switch, because that's what the problem is on this guitar. You're going to need a screwdriver to get access to the little plate, and a soldering iron. And I borrowed this morning, which is absolutely cool, because mine it's at home and it's knackered anyway. Yeah, so there we go. So the problem is here, it's see where the red wire is going on the switch to this one here. That solder's give up the ghost and it's loose, and also on the other side is this the rest of the grey lead go into this middle position here. That's also done the same. What I'm hoping is just a case of reheating that solder and just getting a connection back on. I mean, the yellow and the white one does look a little bit messy, but it's still attached, so I'm just going to leave that. Right, there we go. Got that one back on and that one back on. Not the best job nonetheless, but they are now attached. Soldering is just not my forte. So I'm gonna pop this back in. Gonna leave the switch loose for now because I've got to make sure I put it in the right way around, so I might need to twist it slightly. But yeah, hopefully the next thing you're gonna see is here is just how good this thing sounds. Right, switch is back in. Switch is working fine, but it's still a crackle, and it's now coming from the jack, which should just be a simple case of a resolder, which is not a problem. You might be wondering why this isn't straight, because normally it's sort of that way up, but the switch is still doing the treble and rhythm. The reason it's like that is I couldn't turn it all the way because someone's modified the pots and redone the wiring. There's not enough wire, there's not enough play in it to do that final little bit of turn. But it's not an option. It's not an option. Sorry, it's not a problem because the switch is still working, and yeah, that's what my intent was to sort that switch. Now it's onto this. Got lucky with that, so it's not the soldering, it was just absolutely filthy. So all I did was just blast it with good old contact cleaner and just worked the jack inside it, and I just used a screwdriver just to scratch the contact point here, and also sort of like reamed out the center of the input one, and that should be that. Now we can hear what it sounds like. Right, here we go, it's plugged in. I'm using my Marshall Valve State VS 100 watt head. I think it's only right we test this through a Marshall. Les Paul's Epiphones just seem to, you know, go hand in hand with Marshall. So let's have a listen to the rhythm. So the rhythm pickup is, oh no, I know what I've done. The switch is the wrong way around, which is annoying. But doesn't matter. I can sort that. Let's just hear what it sounds like. So up here, go on this pickup here. Middle position, it's both of them working together now. Ooh. Oh, that sounds, that is absolutely lovely. And on the treble side, no, so that was back to front, so actually that way is the, oh no, it is the right way around. It's my favourite setting. I'm going to try it with a little bit of overdrive now. Wowzers. Yes. This is a great guitar. This is, yes. Let's kick it even more with a bit more overdrive. Let's see if we can get some AC/DC going on. That sounds a bit better. Let's go. great sounding Epiphone Les Paul. So it's the studio. It's a studio model. It's an Epiphone. It's Korean made. I googled the serial number. Production year was February 1996. So it's quite an old. Yeah, it's an old guitar, but it's, well, you heard it yourself. After a little bit of TLC, taking care of the electrics, you know, setting the action, it's a wonderful guitar. I'm actually regretting giving it back to my friend Andy. So Andy was a great friend of mine. He's, over the last year, he's helped me out a hell of a lot. And what he wanted this guitar for is he wants to learn guitar with his daughter at the same time. So when he told me he had an electric guitar that was looking very sorry for itself, I said, I can do that for you, not a problem, mate. The least I can do for the guy. But what I wasn't expecting is how much of a sorry state it was in. But this is the end product after lots and lots of polishing and buffing and some new strings and a setup and intonation, and this is a great instrument. It's lovely. Anyway, that's that. It's been a real pleasure working on this one. I hope it's been informative for you along the way, and yeah, thank you very much for watching.